You know, the difference of opinion and what you saw. And the common denominator, the police said, well, you know, they had a desire to go home at night. And yeah, so, you know. And
so do you think by bringing the police in, does that discourage the young black man to even come into an event?
See, we utilize the police to build a additional safety net. First of all, we cannot beat the police in my mindset. And the police will only arrest you and harass you. So we got to build a bridge for these young brothers to get them in the mindset that they are there to serve and to protect in the contents of that. Because they will fill our jails up. We know that. So we got to create more ways to be able to maneuver and be able to build. And then they serve a purpose as well. Because I've seen times that we had to wait before we could get in to negotiate the truce. So the police held things in bay until we were able to negotiate the truce and for peace to be in the community. So they play a part in the concept that we utilize. They play a part in the contents of being able to work in a better community with us. That's how we look at it.
Me and Chris just came back from this conference. And one of the themes that it was about male violence and trauma. And one of the things, we had brothers that were from LA that were doing gang intervention with Bloods and Crips out in South Central and the work that we do here in DC. And one of the main things that we talked about was the disconnect between the OGs and the young dudes. And how do we manage to bridge the gap? Because OGs are coming out of jail and coming out of prison, and these young dudes have been on these blocks, and they like, listen, I've been on this block. Not only have I been on this block, you haven't been in my house. So how are you going to come out here and tell me what to do or give me some advice when you ain't been around?
Well, the kind of treatment y'all been getting with some of the dudes. Basically, some dudes telling you, I don't want to hear that shit.
If the OGs can't do, who else?
See, you know, and we're seeing some of that. In fact, one of the things that occurred, see, what's happening is the young is beginning to look at the old, and that's not working together. And that's one of the biggest challenges that we are confronted with as a community, the young against the old. And we've got to begin to bridge that gap, because we cannot afford additional enemies within our own ranks, not considering the environment that we're working in. So one of the things that I done the other day when I was seeing some of this kind of movement, I went to a younger brother that I knew, and I told him, I said, man, I need a favor. I said, I need for you to introduce us to the younger brothers that we might not know, so that we can build and bridge this thing together.
Start building relationships.
Yes, building relationships with it. See, we got the ability. Communication is the common. I don't care what the differences is.
Right.
You know, we just got to be able to build and to bridge that thing. But you know, like in Chicago is no longer the gang structure that it once was in the contents of what you just said. Now they're functioning more like they do in DC, crews and cliques, where it's basically that perspective that's going on. And I think that our methodology is more effective for that type of intervention that's occurring now in Chicago than how it once was.
So how do we bridge the gap, though? How do we bring the OGs and the young Gs together? Do we bring them to a community center, or do we got to bring them to a certain space? How do we bridge the gap for the young Gs that are saying, listen, I'm not really trying to hear that?
Well, you know what, brother? I think the only way that I've seen it done is the first thing that I said, even while the time factor. We got to be able to create an environment, and they are conscious. See, that's, as Roach said, we are developing individuals that is conscious. So my belief is that we can put these brothers together and give them an example of what this separation is doing, and be able to build from the perspective that we got to come together if we're going to survive this here. I think that's one of the ways that I would look at it. But you
Let me add this to it. It was last night, I think the question was raised last night. One of the questions was that what role could colleges play? And I've been saying this on my radio show, that if Howard University or a couple of these historical black colleges adopt a community, a neighborhood, or the school of dentistry or psychiatry, whatever, take this particular high school, junior high school, and they develop their resources. Those kids are in their last year of high school or last year of college, do their 6 months practicum in the community. So Howard, Georgetown, GW, etc., Trinity, and they adopt certain neighborhoods. And the School of Architecture, the School of Dentistry would take this particular class or this school, and they would use their resources and make sure that the kids provide mentorship, counseling, guidance, etc. to them, and build a bridge from the community to the college. Yesterday on TV, there was a city councilman that was there last night named Tyrone Parker. He suggested that the city government pass a law that stop locking up and criminalizing kids who don't have the money to pay to go through the metro stop. And they jumping over the terms and they beating them up, throwing them on the ground, give them 90 days, and they ain't got no money. The mothers of them ain't got no money. So there's ways to get around some of this. So with having guys like this and these kind of issues, we can do a lot to change this community. He's one of the few elected officials, and I don't push no elected officials to do nothing. But the brother's heart is in the right place, and we suggested to get Howard University, University of Maryland, all of the colleges, and they come together. You can have a tremendous impact, because a lot of kids on the corner don't leave the neighborhoods. They don't have the high school diplomas. We mentioned Dr. Devon Pryor. I don't know if you know this, but his buddy who died, Eddie Ellis, was a Black Panther. He did 27 years in prison in New York, and he was innocent. They got a program inside of the institution in New York, and 20 people got their PhDs inside of prison. 20 prisoners got their PhDs, they're doctors. Now they running health centers, medical facilities all up and down the East Coast. So he didn't push for GEDs, he pushed for PhDs. So we need to do the same thing with the universities to come into our communities. You know what I mean? Don't just do it on special occasions or on a graduation. Have an office, a community work. Everybody donate 4 or 6 hours a week from their school of communications, architecture, science, or whatever.
What's that joint behind Howard on 4th Street? What's some projects over there on 4th Street?
That's called
behind Howard?
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, though.
Detroit.
Detroit.
But what's crazy is I've been doing that. Right? I've been taking my students out to Suitland to mentor at Suitland High. Right? We've been doing that. I've been doing that for at least 5-6 years.
Right.
We've been out there.
Right.
You know, my students always are like, Dr. Richardson, why the hell we gotta come out here? We don't want to come out here. We don't want it. It take too much time to take the metro out here. They don't really understand the concept. Like they're not really seeing it. They seeing it as almost like this is a burden, right? But they're not really seeing my vision. Like the vision is that the kids need to see you, not me.
Ain't no way in there.
Not me. They need to see you. They need to see that it's possible for somebody that came from the same circumstances that you came from out here with you every week.
You know what? No, I remember you all sent Kwanzaa to us.
Yeah.
And
We sent Kwanzaa to you.
Yeah, and Kwanzaa was extraordinary young guy.
Yes, he was.
He was on fire with ideas.
We sent you Kwanzaa.
Yeah, Kwanzaa, man. See, and that's what's occurring. The disconnect of the young and the old is not filtering into our programs so we can build with them and help them to get to a certain point. You know, but it can happen because we're examples that it can happen. You know, anytime I could say that the Alliance was in Woodland Terrace and on 30th Street and was able to bridge, that shows you that there's a connection that keeps us relevant. Now, we are also working with American University that basically help we got a program called Guns for Opportunities, you know, as the millennials see it. And the basic concept is, and it came by way of American University decided to make a commitment in the Shaw area where one of their students graduates had got killed at the metro station. They decided to come in to that particular community and invest their resources into the Shaw area. And what occurred is that we began to reach out to the kids, found out what was occurring. Then we created a program taking them up to American University. And we was working with Dr. Giograno that was in charge of the International Conflict and Resolution Office. And he helped to get them certified in conflict resolution. And they also produced a manual pertaining to youth and gang intervention there. But they built from the perspective of going up there twice a week and being a part of that environment. And you got to see the transformation of just them having books from there, what it produced for them. You know, but this is, and the concept was, once they turn in their guns, then they would be given a mentor and a opportunity, a job. But they would also enter a cycle where they would be dealing with the trauma. They'd be dealing with their civil rights of the individuals, where they basically be dealing with education training programs and the whole 9 yards. Once they come in, and the mentor would be designated to them to almost assure the continuation of that transformation. So you know, it's not like a ordinary guns turn in for